What if silence wasn't rejection, but a sacred revelation? What if exile wasn't punishment, but a divine cartography? And what if leaving was the most profound spiritual act you've ever committed? This is the season of a beautiful separation, not the drama of a public exit, but a silent, irreversible departure, a holy relocation, a vanishing act so absolute it left no trace for those who expected you to fight your way back. True evolution doesn't always involve a storm. It involves a whisper. It's the moment you simply stop answering to what no longer holds your frequency. And in that quiet, radical absence, the truth of your soul finally echoes back to you. The spiritual purpose of distance. Let's be precise. Separation was not a failure on your part. It was a moment you began to awaken. You didn't depart from malice. You departed because your nervous system could no longer tolerate the dissonance. The old roles became a costume. The masks were suffocating. Every conversation felt like a silent hearsay against your own spirit. This spiritual distance doesn't arrive with fanfare. It arrives with a profound, bone-deep sigh of clarity. One day, your soul simply declared, "This version of me cannot exist here anymore." And so, you rose, not in a fit of anger, but in the quiet, terrifying light of truth. The people you love look different from afar. Exile is a strange kind of sobriety. From up close, the lines of dysfunction are blurred and forgiven. But from a sacred distance, the image sharpens. You begin to see the manipulation disguised as humor, the control hidden in kindness, the quiet envy cloaked as support, the obsessive attachment to your energy that they called love. Distance doesn't just show you who they are. It serves as a mirror, reflecting the version of you that was required to exist in their presence. You don't owe another encore. There are those who will feign indifference to your absence until the silence begins to cost them their supply. They don't miss you. They miss the projection of you. They miss the attention, the energy, the power you provided. And now they're demanding you return for an encore. But you are not obligated to step back onto a stage you had to set on fire to escape. You don't need to prove your healing by showing up. You owe no explanation to those who deliberately chose misunderstanding over accountability. Let your absence be the undeniable fact. Let your stillness be the final, deafening declaration. The work they never saw. They may see the peace now, but they did not witness the purge. They didn't see the nights you wept, not in despair, but in a final act of grieving. They didn't see you get up and bless the very hands that hurt you, simply to sever the karmic chain. They didn't see you tear your own ego apart, leaving it in pieces on the floor just to make room for a deeper truth. You weren't just healing, you were an alchemist. Every wound became a weapon of discernment. Every projection became a mirror you shattered, not absorbed. You learned to forgive without access. You learned to grieve without closure. You studied every shadow that tried to bury you until you understood it was a map to your purpose. This was never simply a glow up. It was a soul deep, lineage altering metamorphosis. You didn't just walk away. You broke contracts. You cleansed the energetic ties and rewired your own nervous system so that you would no longer confuse or mistake chaos for love. The intimidation of your detachment. There is no power greater than your indifference. Your detachment from their opinion shakes them to the core. Not because you became arrogant, because you stopped auditioning. You stopped over-explaining. You stopped shrinking to make them feel large. Those who relied on your self-doubt now have nothing to consume. Your refusal to seek validation feels like an act of rebellion to people who built their identities on being needed. They don't fear your success. They fear your immunity. And the ones who once labeled your confidence as too much or weird are left to pace in the deafening silence they were certain would crush you. But it didn't. It built you. Sacred solitude is different from isolation. Yes, the world becomes quiet, but this isn't abandonment. This is alignment. You aren't lonely. You are finally alone with yourself. It is here that the new codes drop. It is here that your gifts are sharpened into tools. It is here that the old noise falls silent long enough for you to hear from divine again. You weren't being left behind. You were being sent ahead. The Beautiful Exile. There's a reason they don't recognize you anymore. You don't beg for clarity. You don't cower at passive aggression. You don't ask for seats at tables where you were once the meal. You walk with the quiet authority of someone for whom peace is their only protection. You speak as if truth is your currency. You listen as if you already know the unspoken. And they can't figure it out because you didn't post a declaration. You didn't throw a tantrum. You didn't run a campaign. You simply vanished from the version they had access to. You became the echo in their minds that reminds them with every passing day what alignment truly costs. The evidence is your exit. You don't need permission to stay gone. You don't need closure from a door God has already locked. Let the silence be the final word. Let the distance be your fortress. Let the echo of your exit be the most powerful sermon you never had to preach. This is what Beautiful Exile looks like. No apologies, no breakdowns, just God and an unshakable peace. And a one-way ticket to the life you couldn't begin until you stopped performing the old one. The Watchers never left, but neither did your fire. Let's tell the truth. Just because you exited doesn't mean the Watchers stopped watching. Just because you stopped answering doesn't mean they stopped conjuring. Some people still wake up every day wishing your downfall into existence because their best plan to destroy you didn't work. The lies didn't stick. The smear campaign didn't hold. The sabotage collapsed. And now they're forced to witness the rising of the very soul they buried prayers against. And if you're a real one, you feel it. You feel it in the random anxiety, the exhaustion that doesn't match your schedule. The whispers of insecurity you know you've outgrown. That's not you. That's them. That's residual warfare. That's psychic residue from people still circling a portal they no longer have keys to. You are not paranoid. You are perceptive. And this is what they don't tell you about healing. The attacks don't always stop. But with calibration, you won't flinch, you won't fold, you transmute, you send it back, you burn it down, you turn it into momentum, into medicine, into mirror work for the people who thought their hate could halt a destiny that came wrapped in holy fire. This journey doesn't end with peace, it deepens into power. And you're not done walking, you're just walking with the lineage behind you and God as your witness. Wait, hold on. Before you go, hold on. Just... All right. You made it to this part of the episode. Thank you for staying, remaining, and watching. I want to give you an energetic cleanse with some Palo Santo. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Your likes, your shares, your follows, your reposts, all of that is much appreciated. I am Wolfie. This is the Empowered Shadows podcast. And I look forward to chatting with you another time. Take care.